Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Mod Monkey for those of you who are new, and today I want to check out Palia. More specifically, I want to check out the unofficial document that's been floating around for Palia. Palia was just announced like 2 or 3 days ago, and it's touted to be a mostly PvE game centered around community building, where you're going to be farming. So the devs have said that it's more like Animal Crossing meets Stardew Valley with the aesthetics of Breath of the Wild. It's supposed to be a very open, huge MMO world where you can make neighborhoods. You can, instead of forming guilds, you would make neighborhoods and build out your homestead and farm and just, build a community and enjoy the game. PvE style. I'm pretty sure there's going to be exploration as well that's tied into this game, and it's piqued my interest for a couple of reasons. One of which is that the MMO space, as you guys may know, is really hungry for really well-made games to go on the market. So every new MMO that comes out, I've been checking out, I've been trying to look into, and this is just the latest installment of something that I would think could break the mold of what we're currently seeing. With pretty much games being toted around whales. It's far too early to talk about monetization or anything like that. I think we only have one video that was released, and it's noted to be all in engine, but we still have hardly any information regarding Palia. So this is a huge unofficial document that's been floating around. I'll leave the link to the unofficial document in descriptions below, but I just wanted to go through real fast and just read through some of the stuff that I'm seeing in here. At the very top, it's also touted that this document is unofficial, and it's a amalgamation of a bunch of stuff that was said or asked from the community and answered from devs, and there could be stuff in here that is not 100% accurate, which is okay, but I felt like this could give us just a gist of where this game is going. And I don't know, for some reason this has really caught my eye, and even though it's going to be a PvP mostly game, there is some merit to it being a really good MMO. So let's just jump into it. We're gonna read through everything. They have it categorized here in different sections, which is awesome. So we're just gonna dive through a bunch of stuff and see what we have going on here. Okay, starting off with servers. You won't have to choose a server before you're allowed to make a character or anything. We'll let you go where your friends are, but play between regions may have some restrictions. So for instance, EU won't really be able to easily play with NA, probably because they're going to be different servers entirely. No server selections. Hit the big button and play with friends. Players will be able to self-organize more. You aren't tied down to a specific server, asterisk in the same region. Server size, can't address that at all, and yeah, I don't think they would be able to address server size because server size is always fluctuating depending on what the company needs. Server size again, I don't think we're currently prepared to say, but if you're selected for pre-alpha, you'll find out. Ooh, I hope I can get into pre-alpha. I can't speak exactly to where you are, but expanding servers across the globe should eventually happen as we expand localization support, as long as everything goes well. So they're saying right here, like, if the game gets popular, if they're able to sell a bunch of units, then you're going to be able to, Palia is going to be available in more places. Character creation. We're trying to avoid male female. You choose a body type, and all customization options are tailored to fit all body types. You don't choose a gender or pronoun, just a body type. So that's a really cool direction that they seem to be going, where you're just a Minecraft character per se, and it's not really you're just a character, you're just a body type, and you can just build out from there. We haven't built a lot of options yet, as we've been working on the pipeline, but we have been researching and conceptualizing. So this is like pre-alpha, right? So like, I don't think they really have a lot of the aesthetics drilled down, which is probably why we're gonna see the first alpha be pretty much, no, you're not gonna be able to stream the first alpha at all, which is interesting because I believe that the aesthetics and everything like that is probably not there, and they're just doing technical stress testing. So that's probably why you're not going to be able to stream the first alpha, because it's not going to be representative of what the game is actually going to be at the end game. It's going to be extensive, but it may seem limited as the onset of the alpha. So they're just pretty much saying here, like, they don't really have a lot there to offer you for alpha because everything's still being developed, which is cool. The alpha only scratches the surface here. Lots of customization options coming. Other races, we're not talking about all that yet, unfortunately. So it seems to be we're just human. So like the story for Palia is you are a special race, which is humans, and you disappeared off the face of the planet, and now humans are slowly reappearing back onto the planet, and they're trying to get things back going again, I believe. I think naming, I don't think it's been fully figured out yet, to be honest. Surnames or titles are a possibility. This may hinge on community feedback. I think you'll be happy with how we do things with customization, especially if you're into colors and hair. We want people to feel they can play the person they want to play. So they're probably going to build out the characterization options for pretty much building how you probably will look in real life and imposing that into the game so that you can more immerse yourself in the community builder sim. We're investing in a lot of body shapes, clothing, options, hairstyles, all completely mix matchable. Color wheel or a set palette, likely to evolve over time. At the moment, some things like hair color are a palette, and other items have authored color variants. That could change tomorrow. That could change a year from now. There are interesting design concepts about absolute freedom. So pretty much right now, there isn't really a definite course for their customization options because it's pre-alpha. They're still building gear and equipment. Yes, you have your cosmetics outfits, of which we already have a dazzling variety. And this is another point that I wanted to make out real quick about monetization schemes in games, in PvE games like this, because PvP focuses around pretty much catering to whales. And what I mean by that is that the PvP games are pretty much they put out packs and stuff that allows you to get to end game easier if you spend a bunch of money into like $80 to $90 packs constantly. Whereas they throw a bone every now and then to the free-to-play players because the dichotomy is, or the way the ecosystem works is that whales will only whale in games where they can whale over people, and unfortunately the free-to-play players who it takes a lot longer to get to the end game, they're entrapped in this rotation cycle where they're pushing and pushing and pushing to get to the end game, and while they're doing that, the whales who love the whale are already at the end game, using their overpowered gear to pretty much demolish people and have as much fun as possible, in relation to how much money they're actually throwing at the game. And this is something that I desperately want to end. I don't think it's healthy for a game. I don't think it's healthy for the MMO community at all, to be honest with you. And it's very predatory in a way. So like another thing, one of my friends has also brought up with PvE games as well, is that even though the PvE games don't seem as harmful, they do double down heavy on monetization, on microtransactions, because really, to be honest, the only thing that's going to keep you coming back is content, right? So like with the PvE games, they pretty much have to always pump in content, or else you're gonna get bored and you're gonna leave. So it's really curious to me how Palia is gonna go about monetizing their game. It's going to be really important depending on whether I will consider playing this game for the long term or not. I'm going to be keeping my eye closely on how they choose to monetize this game. One of the ways that they can do it is with cosmetics. So like cosmetics, skins for your armor and stuff like that, limited edition stuff, pets. There's just so many different ways you can microtransaction the game. That could be a good thing and could be a bad thing as well. It just depends on how hard they double down on it. With games like this that are PvE though, even though especially since it's being touted as like Animal Crossing meets Stardew Valley, they're going to have a tough time because they're going to need to infuse the game with tons and tons and tons and tons of content in order to keep the game relevant, in order to keep it fun to play, because a lot of the draw for PvP players is gearing up, and gearing up takes time, and that's what takes up a lot of their time and keeps them coming back and is motivation. And then PvP, even though quick and short, it gives people or it gives PvPers that resolution to keep pushing so that they too can one day kill tons and tons of people by themselves. So PvE wise, it's gonna be very interesting what Palia does in order to make the money it needs to keep the game going and the servers going, because it's being touted as an MMO that's going to continue on for years and years to come, and also bring a breath of fresh air. So I'm still interested in a game like this because if they do break the mold, it could be a healthy MMO gaming experience for all. So let's just sorry for that rant. We'll just continue on with the gear. So cosmetics outfits, of which we already have dazzling variety. You also have your tools like pickaxe, fishing rod, butterfly nets. These have quality tiers. Interesting. But you only have one at a time. A higher quality axe replaces a lower tier one. You're not juggling both. There's a huge variety of harvestables and gatherables and craftable items that you can have in your inventory. Tools specifically, we do want it to be as easy and seamless as possible, so you're not constantly swapping items and switching to the inventory manager after every activity. Outfit slots guaranteed. Why stop at one slot for outfits? Interesting. The next one's world. Why the name Palia? Why I can't say exactly why we settled on Palia over others. I wasn't part of that explicit process. I can say that finding a name for a game is really hard. From what I understand, we have a long list of names. Some lawyers had to check a bunch of things to make sure that there was no IP or copyright issues, and just a few made it out of that process. You can't just pick the best name to go with, unfortunately, which is, typical process for game development. Travel options. Our world is meant to feel large and have lots of things to do and discover, but we don't believe spending an hour to travel between zones is how folks want to spend their time. There's pretty open fast travel system in the alpha right now, and we're considering all forms of feedback on how to improve it. So there's a fast travel system where you probably can like open a map and just travel to a town or a neighborhood quickly that's discovered or something, or maybe they have like set ancient waypoints or stuff like that they can do that you can jump in between. But it would be nice to have mounts that you can either tame in the game or get by some means, achievements, etc., that allow you to travel around pretty quickly. How open is the world? But curated. If we go too open, you never squash the bugs. We definitely want to environment transverse to be super fun, though. You saw the glider. Yeah, interesting. So there's going to be gliding. We're trying to use real geometry where we can, rather than have you running into invisible walls. Our game will feel more curated than open world. Interesting. We're starting smaller and aiming to grow bigger. For alpha, we will certainly have instances of our maps that support so many players, but making sure your group is together and you can visit each other without loading screens and your social experience is smooth is one of our primary goals as a team. Now, Social experience is a really interesting term because you don't really hear it that much when it comes to games. So like for instance, I've played a lot of Arcade, and one of the things I've always said is that the social aspect of the MMOs, a lot of MMOs these days, is really lacking. So that's one of the biggest breath of fresh air to see that a company is focusing on the actual social experience. It's what keeps people coming back. It's why I played Mabinogi for so long. It got to the point in Mabinogi where I wasn't even logging in to do like actual dungeon runs or anything like that. I was like logging in just to hang out with my friends. And I want to get back to a game that actually does that. Animal Crossing is a really good one for that as well, where you log in and you invite your friends over. But the multiplayer experience is just so clunky, and they refuse to actually fix it for some weird reason. Even with New Horizons, it's just really clunky. And it's going to be really, really good to have an MMO that that will allow you to just hang out with friends and explore together. As of right now, all of our buildings can be entered, but be understanding that NPCs might close the doors of their homes at certain times of the day for sleeping. Oh, that's pretty freaking hilarious. Certainly, one IRL hour is one in-game day. This might change. 1 hour of real time equals 24 hours in game day. So you'll have 15 minutes of morning, 15 minutes of afternoon, 15 minutes of evening, 15 minutes of night, followed by a confirmation from a dev. Nice. Ocean island ships, sea travel. If I get my way, yes, but the community helps prioritize new features as much as anyone. Fill out surveys when you get the chance. So right now, there is no ocean traveling, which is a bummer. It's a bummer. It's a huge bummer, but it looks like if we petition enough, we'll probably end up getting it. Easter eggs, pop culture references in the game, 100%, yes. More on Easter eggs. We like this too, and one thing we ask ourselves about when designing spaces is discoverability. We don't want to put a whole wiki inside the game, but we don't want you to feel like you gotta have a wiki open to even play. Exploration will be more about finding what's going on in the world where people and animals have their own thing going on, and you're in the mix there. Huh. There's a lot to uncover in the Palia story. You decide your own level of involvement. Weather. We aren't ready to talk about weather specifically right now. Sorry, Palia is not a world without weather. I can say that. Interesting. I wonder what kind of weather system they're going to have. Portals. Nothing so magic-y as portals. Our fast travel system is kind of similar, though. Interesting. All right, so we're going to move over to the gameplay aspect, and this is going to break down, I guess, how the game is going to play from a bunch of questions and answers. We're very keen on cooperative features for all of our skills. Can't say anything specific beyond that. Hunting skill. How does hunting work? Bo uses a crosshair, and I've said too much. Okay. Fishing skills, yes, it's more than just casting in RNG. Nice. Fishing will be more involved in Animal Crossing. Yes. We're more like Stardew there. Interesting. AC. Okay. That's a great question. I'm aware of Stardew infamous fishing difficulty. We are aiming for a similar level of depth, but with a gentler difficulty curve. You should be able to succeed at low level fishing, even if you're not good at the mechanic. We plan on having things like time of day affect fish. That's pretty cool. So even with this the small mention of having time of day affect fish, right? They could tie a lot of things to things you find in the game, which will make it a little bit more like Animal Crossing. So like Animal Crossing, certain types of day, you'll find different types of fish or sharks and stuff like that. Weather can affect how you fish. They can do a lot here, and then you can have a certain type of day where you can find certain animals, and certain type of day where you can find certain things, period, or like quests that leads you on to things that where it has to be like a thunderstorm before you can find like a certain statue or something to pop up. I know they have that in Mabinogi, and it's going to be pretty cool to see something that dynamic in a video game. especially an MMO, and that's going to keep people's interest for sure. It's why people keep their interest with Animal Crossing, to be honest with you, because of the collection process is not really, or collecting the items that you need or that you want is not necessarily a straightforward thing. You have to trade with people. You have to be at a certain place at the right time. You have to wait for certain events to happen, like thunderstorms or star showers, etc., etc. So yeah, that's cool that they're thinking like this, that they have that same type of mindset. Can't say anything specific yet, though. Combat, we're not ready to get into the details of this yet, but we'll have both combat-like systems such as hunting and eventually some more traditional combat. Like most of our skills, you'll be able to choose your level of participation in it. Hunting is the most action-oriented skill in the pre-alpha, but you are right, it's not combat. We have some really exciting plans in the action space for this game, but I can't tell you anything about them right now. Your patience is appreciated here. Party size. The party size is not a set in stone thing. I realize a team member may have given an explicit number based on their understanding at the time, but that kind of info is at best giving a snapshot of the current state of things that absolutely may or may not change. I can't elaborate any more than that confidently. Party size is currently at 4. Okay, but it may change during development. Character death, no death or health even. Huh? You can't die, or there's not even a health bar. What? Much of the open world activities do not explicitly require a party. Parties make certain things easier, but you can still play most of the game just hanging out on voice. We won't have dedicated roles or roles themed around combat, hence trying to avoid the traditional RPG vibes. There will be group adventures, maybe dungeons like, but we won't have huge raids that require lots of prep and grinding beforehand. No combat at the moment. We'll let you know. You can hunt though. That is interesting. I wonder how they're gonna keep people's interest in a game like this. To be perfectly honest with you, that's what I'm most curious about. Magic skill line, definitely no magic. Skill to level up like hunting at the moment. Professions. Even though we're trying to avoid the typical grind of MMOs, you'll have lots of bars to fill up and levels to grind. Yes. Guilds. Our version of guilds in the game are neighborhoods, and yes, you will be able to create your own and invite whomever you wish. Difficulty. Different activities, skills are different. It's hard to say, but people will probably gravitate towards their favorite and specialize that way. Don't worry, the challenge is there for players who want it, but we're not hitting you in the face with it up front. End game progression and how it's lacking in Animal Crossing. End game progressing in Animal Crossing is a legit thing. We've identified that this is a well-known issue about Animal Crossing, and unfortunately, we are not planning to succumb to that same fate. Thank goodness. Our skill system will be Sarap. What does that even mean? Jumping, yes. Achievements. Systems like these will exist, yes, with consideration for people being able to enjoy the game for its own sake and not feel obligated to play the game in a way they don't enjoy. Will there be X skill? There will be a skill or 3, and everyone, my wife and I, already have a plan to diversify our specializations. Most of our skills are designed to allow you to opt in and a degree you want. I think it's fair to say the structure of this game will not attempt to mimic that of traditional MMOs. That said, MMOs is a very broad term that seems to have been forced into a very niche vision by popular traditional MMOs. So this brings up a little bit of concerns for me personally, because I don't know how they're going to incentivize people to continue logging in and not get bored of the game. pretty much. Animal Crossing has this really weird, well, I can only speak for Animal Crossing New Horizons because I loved a New Leaf and a lot of other games that they had, because they had like collaborations with different companies like Best Buy, Target, this and the third, that allowed for like for instance, the 7-Eleven set was pretty amazing in New Leaf, that I love collecting all the pieces of. But they don't have anything like that in New Horizons. So right now we're on a downturn with New Horizons, where, you know, you're not really seeing any new content, even though we're in like the next year of the game, and all the old events are coming through are not giving anyone any new items whatsoever. It's just a repeat of what we got last time. So that being said, I haven't I haven't played Animal Crossing New Horizons in a while. My wife still plays, but I haven't touched in a while because it's just there's nothing really new that's pulling me back. Now, they say that they're not going to fall down the same rabbit hole, but it is to be determined how they're going to keep people interested in the game when you really don't have anything traditionally that would foster people coming back and back. And I mean, this is too early to tell. I mean, I don't know what the game is going to be like, but I'm really interested on how they're going to be able to keep people's interest in the game for more than a month. RP, I've been making sure to advocate for features like these. It also helps that I role played in WoW for over a decade, and the executive producer of the game is also another role player. We definitely want players to stand out and feel like they can play the person that they want. We are really excited for things like emotes, titles, etc. So RP is definitely something that's roleplay is something definitely being looked at, and is it's something that's being built in the game, which is it's cool. Not my jam, but you know, to each his own. PvP, is it? It's possible we introduce PvP in small ways in the future. Currently, it's not. So interesting that they still have PvP on the table. Competitive activities is a higher priority than PvP. Competitive activities. If PvP means competitive gameplay, then we'll have some. If PvP means duels in the middle of town, nah. Interesting. Crafting and gathering. You'll never be told to pay money or come back later just to craft something. If you have the resources, you craft. I think it was stamina and not time related. How long will crafting take? No specifics for now. One thing to keep in mind, that we want to make sure that there is an element of surprise to the pre-alpha. There's something magical from discovering something for the first time. So that's why we're holding our cards close. Oh. I don't know if you guys can hear that, but there's currently a thunderstorm going on right now. And that was like the hugest lightning bolt I've ever seen in my life. Oh my god. Okay, let's continue on. We're looking for feedback on those items. So we hope our pre-alpha testers come with lots of opinions. Ooh, I hope I get in, because I really want to see what this is about. You won't be stopped cutting down trees by stamina or similar. What? We had it, hated it, and it's gone from the game. All of our gathering skills will have rare stuff. Oh, that's cool. So like, if you, let's say you're a woodworker and you chop down a bunch of trees and you level up your axe, your logger abilities, you'll be able to find probably rare wood. Something like Fantasy Life was one of the bigger games that I loved playing so much of, and I really hoped that it would have came to Switch. But Fantasy Life had like life skills, and the more you rank the skills, the better you can, like, the better trees and stuff that you can knock down. So that is actually exciting, because that is really fun. It's really rewarding when you're able to level up. I think Arcade also has it as well for mining. Like, if you mine enough, you'll be able to mine like the rare nodes, and that's really rewarding. So that's good to hear. There will be cooking. What? Don't want to get into specifics on how it works just yet. Sorry. So if there's cooking, then that means there's going to be buffs, and I want to know what those buffs are going to do. Infinite, regrowable, lumber yards, quarries, etc. Yes to all of those. Actually, ha ha ha. Interesting. I wonder what that means. Resource management. We have a unique solution to that, but not ready to unveil yet. All kinds of trees around Palia. Food rot. Okay, food does not rot. Food made by people who are really good at making food will be better than some food made by bad cooks. Fun achievements: not to cut 5,000 trees. Cut down 5,000 trees is an interesting way. I guess that's like maybe a hint to an achievement. Why are there different colored deer like animals in the trailer? Starstruck emoji. Bees. Oh, sorry, we don't comment on bees right now because we're still very mixed on how stingy to make them. So we might have apiaries, which is pretty cool. Plant diversity. I think we have some interesting diversity of plants. Plant choices already though. No plans for animal husbandry. I'm not sure if that is if that technically is true. There are long-term plans for lots of things. So many that we'll have to listen to y'all to figure out where to focus. I think I can state that animal farming or animal taming and or husbandry is a common topic for us at the studio. Yes, safe to say that you will have to go to a variety of places to catch a variety of fish. So that's cool. You're not going to be able to just like stick to your own little corner of the map and then get all the fish in the game. You're actually going to have to travel around in order to get different types of fish. So that could be easily tied to an achievement as well. Mounts and pets, and this is one of the things I touched on earlier. We see these categories as fast travel and pets. Both are in the roadmap in some form. So they are planning on mounts and pets. So that's pretty cool. Land and housing. Earning the right to your house plot is between you and the villager in the quest line. What? Your home is intended to be your cozy private space, but you can have visitors so you can still show off your decor. Yeah, so this is it instance housing? Instance housing. It'll feel a lot like that, not committing to instance housing plots at the moment. Currently, our housing is instance off in private spaces. There will be ways for players to show off their plots, but it will not be so free as running by someone's home. As such, there is no shortage of real estate for players to have access to housing. So I don't know how I feel about this. If they have instant housing, then it's not going to be something where you can like discover and just quickly jump into people's houses and check them out. You're going to have to either be invited or find a person and like click on them like they do in Animal Crossing, which it really takes away from housing, to be honest with you. Yikes. Both outside and inside are instants, but your friends can easily access your home if you wish for them to come over. There's no loading screen. Huh? It's really easy for friends and neighbors to visit, and you'll be adding more controls to land share. In the alpha, this won't be possible. You can visit a friend's plot and help them build their building, though. Open house. We want players to be able to, but we're still exploring different ways of executing on this, since there is a lot to consider to make it a good experience for everyone. Absolutely, we'll be giving you more and more controls over who can do what as time goes on. No purchasing and selling of commodities and or lands isn't a focus of the game. So you're not going to be able to sell plots. You're not going to be able to gain monetary value from having from selling your house, which is interesting. I don't know how the economy is going to work in the game, if there even is an economy in the game. It just looks like it's a good old time, more leaning towards Animal Crossing, which is having building out your homestead and then showing off your homestead. I am really finding it hard to see where the attraction is as far as consistent gameplay in Palia, because there's really, I don't know. This is interesting. It's an interesting take. Like, I've never seen a company do this before. This is interesting. It looks like it's focusing more just on the gameplay and having a good time than anything else. It's like hanging out with friends is like the pure center of the game. You will have lots of control over layout of rooms and stuff. Your interior choices are going to be wild. You attach rotate rooms to create your own floor plan. Your plot is fairly private, but you can put your house anywhere on it with all kinds of configurations. Second stories and basement cellars could happen. Nothing to share at this time, though. House with one floor is pretty small. These kinds of things are not set in stone, as you acknowledge. I don't personally feel like a one-story house is inherently small, though. No, I believe that there is at least most people should feel like they can build a comfy cottage core home. Cooperative housing is a huge goal for us. Cooperative housing. Interesting. Would you be able to steal? No. There's no terraforming, but the customization options for your plot will be very interesting. The house from the trailer is just scratching the surface of what you can do, really. Interesting. Furniture interaction. Forgive us on this one for pre-alpha. So they're going to leave it to you to discover for pre-alpha. Furniture positioning. It may not be 100% free. So you can't place items inside each other, but you can clutter surfaces like tables or shelves with little items, so long as they all fit. Furniture number per room. You have no hard limit on numbers of items placed in a room, up to you. If you want to put a bed in your kitchen, we will definitely not stop you. Thematic furniture, that is the plan. So thematic furniture. Oh, okay. So like in Animal Crossing, there are named furniture pieces that have like an entire set. I'm talking about like a bed. What was one of them? It's like cute bed, cute dresser, cute rug, etc., etc., and they all have an ongoing theme. So thematic furniture, when that was asked, that's pretty big. That means that we're going to be able to get a bunch of furniture that's just like themed around, I don't know, like skeletons or something like that, or something like that. It's pretty cool. So now they go into pre-alpha and everything regarding pre-alpha that has been discussed so far. Again, I just wanted to preference that this is not all 100% true. You know what I mean? This is just like the community talking to the devs, and there could be errors in this, but this is like the gist of everything. Pre-alpha, we will send emails to everyone who's accepted, and we will announce that we've sent the emails. So at that point, you'll know if you've been picked. Pre-alpha when? Soon. Soon, TM. Pre-alpha possible release. It could be month. It might be months. Yikes. The other two, no way. Referring to quarters and years. Super playable. Lots to do. Will be under NDA, at least for the beginning. So NDA is a big thing. If I do make it into the pre-alpha, I think the only thing I could say is that I made it into the pre-alpha, but I couldn't talk about anything that I've seen in the pre-alpha. So if I make it into the pre-alpha, guys, I'll let you guys know. But unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to talk about what I've seen in the pre-alpha until after the NDA has been lifted, which is going to probably be a whole couple videos of me talking about this game, because that's how interested I am in this game. We'll be doing a couple of wipes before our actual launch. Numbers, as many folks as we can get in. The response so far has been overwhelming, which is great, but I fear it means we won't be able to invite enough folks to make everyone happy. That's why it's hard to give definite details right now. Diversity. We're figuring this out. Honestly, we're trying to get a mix of different people in this iteration of testing. So some will be fans of this game or that game. Some will be solo players. Some will want to bring their friends. So the answer is actually some might be allowed to bring in friends. Ooh, I hope that's the thing. Cash in for alpha. Yikes. In our case, our alpha is 100% not a soft launch under a Weasley title. so we can cash in. Wait, so we can cash in while wanting a pass on all the bugs. We're old and crusty and old school, or at least I am. And as far as I'm concerned, alpha is alpha is alpha. Freaking, that whole statement made my day. Cause these days, I'm just not going to speak on it. That whole, for those of you who've been around in the gaming community for long enough, you'll know that this whole statement right here speaks louder than words. So our hopes is that who do get into pre-alpha are super vocal about things that they like and things that they don't like. Our goal at this stage in development is to really double down on things that players are loving about the game and fixing things that they see as problematic. Now that can be a double-edged sword because people tend to cry about things that they think that they want, but doesn't really necessarily add to the game in a positive light. So I mean that should be taken with a grain of salt, to be honest with you. You can't appease everyone, because if you try to appease everyone, you're gonna have a game that just no one wants to play, or the majority wants to play, because at 9 times out of 10 it's always the minority that's the loudest, and they usually get their way with a lot of these games. And then it just makes it so that the majority of the players, they just they go off and do something else. Part of the reason why we are having the pre-alpha is so the game can be shaped not only by us, but by our players as well. Duration not explicitly known yet, long enough for players to be able to relay feedback and us to test our servers and configurations. We do announce the actual pre-alpha start date. There will be a better approximation, but everything is subject to change. Will things be faster in pre-alpha, like resource gathering? We want to understand how players progress through the game or the content currently, so accelerating that process would be, oh my god, thunderstorm. So accelerating that process would be a bad move for our learning. Nice. It's not skipping content, it's skipping resource gathering. Yes, but the general idea is if our plan is to launch the game with resource gathering, we don't want to pull that out of any tests for convenience, as we won't get the signal on if resource gathering is reasonable and at least somewhat fun. Got you. So final release and early access open beta for release, not pre-alpha. It's a little too early to be talking about early access or release. Right now we're focused on getting as much feedback as possible on pre-alpha so you can build a great game and community. Release date 5 years. Ain't nobody got time for that. Oh, that's interesting. Like done. We expect to be a live service game and keep working on it. If you just want to play it, it's going to be really soon. While I can't give any specific dates, I can assure you that we are much closer than 3 years from launch. Okay, that's cool. We're targeting on a simpler. Oh, so here they're talking about the UI of the game. We're targeting on a simpler side, but at the end of the day, MMOs with neat social systems require a bit more UI. Bad UI got me into gaming dev. I'm hoping you guys will enjoy the UI, but I can only make educated guesses based on my experience and background. Y'all's feedback will heavily influence iterations going forward. Finding guilds, neighborhoods, you'll be able to find them. This is big goal for us. So you'll be able to like find a neighborhood you want to be a part of and then join the neighborhood. Ultra wide. It's already supported. It supports ultra wide, some wonky stuff in the UI at those sizes, but it's still pre-alpha. Hide UI, definitely supporting something like that. We hope you take all the screenshots. We'll have toggles for certain UI elements. Yes, motion sickness. We have folks on the team that are the same way. They keep us in check on things like camera controls. I think our inventory system does a few things that crafting games should have been doing for a while already. Interesting. Favorite inventory sorting option. I think for a game like our, category sorting is most important, but this can often be achieved with filters. Within the list, you get a lot of free wins with an alphabetical sort. Works great for most any localization for instances. We'll roll out various settings to help you customize the UI, but no mod support, sorry. Bestiary catalogs, tracker. There will be UI for tracking information like what kind of fish you've caught. Yes, that feels fairly safe to leak. So it looks like they're going to be following along with the traditional Animal Crossing, where you can keep track of the type of fish that you caught, and hopefully get a preview of fishes and wildlife that you have yet to obtain, to fill out the tracker book or the tracker information. More towards like achievements and stuff like that is what that's going to be leaning towards. So now we're going to go on up to the music section. It is our own music written by our own composer, so you can stream it. Does it say stream it right here? Stream it. So own music by own composer. So I guess it's safe to stream, which is good for us Twitch streamers. Music instruments in game. Anything's possible. That's not like a secret yes or anything. We're just really open to making the things you want. One struggle is that with latency with audio over the internet, it's kind of difficult problem if you're looking to jam with friends or anything. All right, Spotify and YouTube. I'm not aware of any plans currently, but I would be surprised if we don't accommodate on that front at some point. Spotify, YouTube too. That actually is a great idea. Stefan has been doing an incredible job with the music. On more than one occasion, I have loaded up the editor just so I can sit at a inn and listen to the music while I work. I don't remember who had asked, but we had seen questions about the composer for Palia's music. It's no other than the incredible talented Stefan Schmidt. He'll be saying hello to everyone in the next few days. Minimum specs not out yet, but it's really low. We don't have specific minimal specs out yet, but so far we're running the game on some pretty garbage PCs. Platform crossplay and controls. We are starting on PC and adding more platforms from there. Where crossplay is possible, we will push to support it. So I wonder if, so they're starting off on PC, but it looks like they might actually end up on the Switch as well, which will be pretty freaking amazing, but we'll see. We're aiming to release on most platforms after PC launch. Mobile is a high priority. I don't think I can say more than that right now. What you're asking about is called cross progression. That is also a complex subject involving legalities between platform holders, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, etc. Controller support is planned later, but won't be available for pre-alpha. As someone with RSI in the risk, controller support is very important to me. I've been playing Palia on a Steam controller in the meantime. VR is already fairly friendly with Unreal. We could look into it. I know we have VR fans on the dev team. I mean, it's the only way to play Elite Dangerous. So, wow. That is going to be incredible if they look into VR. It doesn't necessarily look like it's in a focused scope of what they're doing right now. But if we can just get that on the table, that would be freaking incredible. Because right now, I can only think of Orbis VR or Orbis VR? And there's a steampunk one I don't know that released yet or not. That are the only two VR MMOs that are out or coming out. And the VR space would benefit greatly from any type of MMO that is developed, in really amazing aesthetics that people can just like dive into. Especially this type of game, I think would lend well to VR. We intend to include. Okay, so we're in the accessibility options right now. Accessibility section. We intend to include disability options, including colorblind options. This is not ready for pre-alpha, so these won't. Accessibility options will not be available for the pre-alpha in the next few months. I guess this is 1 or 2 months. You need the mouse, but it's more required for the UI than playing the game. Folks with accessibility software and other input devices shouldn't have to worry about clicking in the world to move or anything like that. NPCs and romance. We'll have relationships and romance. Things like spouses and children could come later. So a bit of Fable, I guess, as well going on. Friends and romantic partners both. I'm sure you'll find someone to relate to in the village, even if it's the mean old mayor's wife. Villagers have lives to live as well, so you'll see them all around the world. Romance will be only between players and NPCs. Gender doesn't matter. Currently, no player-to-player romances, but they are looking into it. It was mentioned in one of the house sharing related questions. That's pretty cool. Romance, multiple NPCs, yes, but just like in real life, some people might be upset if they find out. Well, Enar, robot, follow us and help, or just NPCs. Enar has his own routine and interests. You'll have to strike up a friendship to learn more. Dialogue with NPCs, choices. There will be incentives for engaging with NPCs deeply. As to what explicitly, I'll leave that as a mystery. So it might be a thing where the more you become friends with a certain NPC, you might unlock like a secret shop, or they might have a shop already. And you might have access to like the back room where they have like more stuff. So that's pretty interesting to see that they have that type of system. This is not something that's new, by the way. Games like Mabinogi have it, where you can unlock certain or hidden stores in order to get certain skills in the game. I believe what was that other, Dragon Nest, I believe, had a system like that as well, where you could find toys and dolls and stuff in the world, and you bring it back and like spam them on one NPC. You can unlock a hidden items and stuff like that you can get from them, that you can buy from them. So that type of system has been around for ages. So to see that they're bringing it to this game is just bringing more depth into your exploration, pretty much. Anti-griefing. We do have a bit of a troll on the team who actively looks for ways to grief us when we are play testing, so that we can look for ways to mitigate or remove the ability. I'm sure new ways will be discovered, but if something we do care very much about and pay attention to, we want the existence of other players to be at worst neutral and at best a positive ad. Players are really creative when it comes to this stuff. Thankfully, we have folks on the team that are really good at making sure we know when the stuff isn't up to our standards in that department as well. We're sensitive to this, believe me. We may not end up supporting private servers, but if we don't, you'll have other tools to filter out unwanted players. A huge focus for us is in having some of the best social systems, and that includes not worrying about seeing players you don't like seeing. So that's pretty cool. So in arcades, you can block people, but that just stops them from talking. You still have to engage with them. You still have to deal with them. But if people are being like toxic, racist, etc., you could just delete them from your gameplay, which is awesome, amazing in my opinion. And that should just be adopted to every MMO, to be perfectly honest with you. Player trading, auction houses. I feel like we have a pretty unique approach to how we want to handle the transfer of items between players, but it's in early stages, so we're not quite ready to talk about it. Game economy will exist. We aren't sharing a lot about this now, but it'll be clear when people get their hands on the alpha. So they are going to have an economy. I just don't understand how that's going to work, to be honest with you. Lore. Lore is something very passionate about, and we've been investing in since day one. You'll be able to do a lot of interacting with the lore. Your character can really become a part of the NPC stories. Lore books, yes, there will be lore books. Your relationship with NPCs will affect what they're willing to share with you, so your perspective of the story may differ. Interesting. So, wow. So the more you befriend NPCs, the more information that you can probably squeeze from the world. That's pretty cool. Localization. While we know we want to localize to other languages, we understand how important it is. We haven't decided yet exactly how that will be accomplished. We're going to localize as many languages as we can. I saw that we did quite a few folks from Brazil. Definitely going to have to start learning Portuguese. We do plan on localizing the game. However, the pre-alpha will be in English only. Okay, the engine will be under Unreal Engine 4. I was looking for a game that was built in Unreal Engine 5, considering how of a huge leap it is between Unreal Engine 4 and Unreal Engine 5. But yeah, so this one's going to be currently in Unreal Engine 4, but who knows if that'll change. An engine upgrade is never cut and paste. There's always a transition cost. How big the cost is and when do we want to pay it is a huge part of the strategy around doing a potential upgrade from Unreal Engine 4 to Unreal Engine 5. So they are thinking about it, but I mean, the company's going to do what is 9 times out of 10. We'll see. If they do move to Unreal Engine 5, that's going to be a huge win for them, in my opinion, and a whole lot of respect, because that's a waste of money that could be built or that could be put towards developing the game. So hopefully they make personally I hope that they make that jump to Unreal Engine 5, only because the engine is so amazing. But I mean, they could probably be okay with Unreal Engine 4 as well. It just depends on what they're trying to do. There are a lot of factors that go into selecting a game engine. I'm hoping to one day have some articles on our company site sharing more details about the engineering choices we've made and the tech we use. A couple of interesting facts: we do have some Epic folks on the dev team, and that certainly helps. We're also very interested in Unreal Engine 5 and looking at it closely, but have no plans for it now. So they're eyeing Unreal Engine 5, but there's no set in stone plan that we're gonna move things over to Unreal Engine 5 now. I want to note, I don't think that it's anything secretive. We're only one version behind off from Unreal Engine 5, so we hopefully wouldn't have too many breaking changes if we were to upgrade. That's all saying to me in a very PR way that maybe it won't happen. It might not happen. It's more likely that it won't happen, but they are apparently keeping it in talks, so we'll see. API, no plans as of yet. Okay, so API is a very, very big topic for me, and it's literally the first thing I ask for any new game coming out. The reason why I ask about API is because if you look at games like Guild Wars 2, third-party fans can make amazing third-party applications that just enriches the gameplay of certain games. So Guild Wars 2 has a whole overlay that you can download that gives you access to when world bosses are going to be going. It's world boss timers. There's marketplace stuff too that you can use to help you better price your stuff when you put things on a market, help you make a little bit more money that way. And then on the fly wiki that is really in depth, that'll help you understand the game. Team, 3 years starting with 2 people, grew to 7 people after 1 year. Now at 3 years we're 50 people passionate people, 50 people strong, with help from third-party studios for this and that, and we're still hiring and growing. Who started Singularity 6? Aiden and Anthony, whom you can see here, and they have a link to that document. So this is the entire document that we just went through, the unofficial document for asking the dev, and this kind of gives you a overall gist of what Palia is, what they're planning to be, and what will one day be something that I can share with you guys on this channel. So just know, officially, I am keeping my eye on this game. This is something that interests me greatly because it, like I said, Pretty much everyone in my family has a Switch, and we all play Animal Crossing at one point. And this looks like something that could be right along the line for me and my family. So let me know in the comments down below what you guys think about this game. Are you interested in it? Have you signed up for the alpha yet? Are you attached to the Discord? I'm already in the Discord for Palia. And what you guys think. I've already signed up for the creators program, and I'm waiting back on the news from that. And yeah, I'm just gonna wait and see how this game grows, and if I go into alpha. Unfortunately, even though it's under NDA and I can't say too much about it, just know as soon as the NDA is lifted, if I made it into the alpha, I will definitely download everything I possibly learned from my experience in the game. Asterisk if I make it in, and then if not, we're just going to be keeping a close eye into this game until I can get my hands on it, so I can get you guys a comparison as where it lands as far as a game that you guys would probably want to look into. The concept of this game alone is something that I think would be beneficial to the MMO community, something that shakes things up. And I'm going to be looking very closely at any type of monetization, how they're going to choose to monetize this game. Right now, there hasn't been anything really definite in the sand on, is it going to be buy to play? Is it going to be subscription based? They do say that they're going to be an online service, so it looks like it might be a subscription based game, which is not necessarily a bad thing. Look at like Final Fantasy 14 Online, look at World of Warcraft. These are subscription based games that are doing very well for themselves. And because of that, you don't see any type of like real hardcore monetization in there. I hope that they find something that's that is a level playing for everyone, and hopefully we'll get news on how the monetization goes in that game shortly. But until then, we have a Animal Crossing meets Stardew Valley with the aesthetics of Breath of the Wild game to look forward to in the future, and I'm super excited. So again, let me know in the description below how you guys feel about the game, and I'll see you guys in the next video. You guys have a good one. Mud Monkey out. Peace. Yes, yes.